Hello, welcome to the Morgan Homestead. Today is Sunday, December 20th, and as you can see, it's game day. We're in Minnesota. We're Vikings fans, so we're excited about the game. But before we did that, go watch the game, we decided to finally post a video. We haven't posted one in probably 4 months, and that's not to say we haven't been busy working towards our homesteading life and style. We have been, and we're going to go kind of catch you up today on everything that we've been doing in the past 4 months. But if you're new to watching us, we have been thinking about homesteading for years, but we finally, with COVID, decided to go ahead and make the move to our property in northern Minnesota. We're going to build a cabin. We started last year getting chickens, and we have a lot of plans, and we just thought we would document this and take you guys along as we do this, and maybe we can get some feedback and help from you guys, because we are not experts. We've never done this before. What we know, we've just researched, and we're learning as we go. So we're looking for advice and help along the way, and we thought we'd take you guys along. So what are we going to talk about today, Kev?
Just going to do a series of videos that we had actually captured throughout the year that we never had time to do any editing and upload. So this is going to be more of a catch-up video on what we've been doing. So the first thing that we were doing, we weren't able to find like an actual chicken plucker. I mean, they were sold out everywhere, and the ones that they did have, I thought they were asking too much money for. So, and we only had a few roosters that we needed to process. 6 to be exact. So I decided to make a chicken plucker that attaches to a drill, and I created a video for that, and I'll show you that video right here. Today I'm going to make a chicken plucker that connects to the drill. So what you'll need for the chicken plucker is a 4-inch PVC cap, some 12-inch bungee cords, a 3/8 bolt to connect to if you wanted to use it in a 3/8 drill. I have a 7/16 bolt that I'm going to use in a 1/2-inch drill, so it's up to you which one you want to use. I had this bolt, so this is what I'm going to use. I'm just going to cut this head off. So really, you only need the shaft in this case. Then you'll need a couple nuts to fit the shaft that you're using, and a flat washer and a lock washer. 3/8 drill bit to drill a hole into your 4-inch PVC cap. And then I have a 5/16 bit that I'm going to be using to create the slots in the side of this so that I can stick these bungee cords through that slot. First thing you got to do is find the center of your cap, which isn't probably the easiest thing to do. In my case, I had a small little dimple right in the center of this cap. You want to get it as close to the center as possible, because once you put this in your drill and you're spinning this around, you don't want it wobbling all over the place. So the first thing I'm going to do is drill my center hole in my cap. So now that you have your hole in the center, now we need to make our slots in the sides so that we can stick our bungee cords through those. First thing I need to do is mark off where I'm going to put the actual slots. Now I have 11 straps that I'm going to be cutting in half, so that's going to make 22 slots. The straps are 3/4 of an inch wide, so I need to make my, plus I want to have a little bit of a gap between each of the straps. And I don't want to be right at the edge, either side here. So I'm in about 1/4 inch from each edge with my first mark. And then I measure over from that mark 3/4 of an inch, and from this one 3/4 of an inch, which gives me a 1/4 inch gap between them. Okay, so now I need to thread the rod onto my cap. So I got to get that as close to center as I can so that I don't have so much wobble. To do that, I'm going to use my drill press and see if I can't chuck my threaded rod into my drill press and then try to screw that into the cap. There, that actually worked really nice. So now that I have the bolt threaded in to the cap, it now has threads, so I can remove the rod and put it back in, and it'll go back in the same spot. Okay, so now the next step is I have to mark off my spots where I'm going to be putting my slots for my bungee cords. Alright, so I wanted 1/4 inch from each edge, so I spin the PVC cap in my hand drill to hold a marker to try to get the mark evenly all the way around. I'll reset it up for the 1/4 inch from the top. Mark. Okay, so now that I have my lines, I am going to mark it off the distance between each bungee slot, and then I can mark where the slots are going to go and then drill those out. So I took the circumference of the cap and then divided that by 11, which gives me about 1.5 inches. So the cap is 16.5 inches. Divide that by 11 gives me 1.5 inches. And then I take a wire that I cut down to 1.5 inches, and then I'll just mark off where each of those lines will be. That gives me 10 rows. So I'll take my square and draw a line across that mark. I go back to the drill press, and I'll go ahead and between these two lines and these two lines on this new line that I just created, I'll make slots so that the bungee cords can fit through. Okay, so now that you have all your slots cut in there, and it doesn't need to be perfect, just needs to be Homestead perfect. Alright, you need to just take your bungees, cut them in half, pull the hooks out. And I think the easiest way to do this is probably to put all the lower ones in first and then the upper ones. So then what I do is put the bungee cord down inside, get it started, push it through, and I grab it with the pliers, pull it the rest of the way through, pull it nice and tight so that it's up inside there. We can't go anywhere. And then just finish that. Like I said, I'm going to do the bottom all the way around first, and then the top. You might have to ream some of these holes out a little bit more to get the bungees to fit, but just do what you got to do to get them through there. Alright, so now what I ended up doing is I ran this cap all the way down onto the bolt that's backed up against the shoulder on this bolt. Now I put my flat washer on and a lock washer, and then I'm going to go ahead and thread this on tight to the lock washer, and then I'll just take my angle grinder and cut the excess thread off of this. But other than that, it is complete. So now I'll just take and tighten this not all the way down. I'll just take my angle grinder with the cutoff disc on it and cut this excess thread off. But I have my drill set to 1, which is plenty fast. And spins up pretty good.
Okay, so we ended up having to cull 6 of our roosters because we had way too many roosters and to the rooster hen ratio. So we made the decision to cull 6 of them. And so Kevin made the chicken plucker, which we're excited about using. And so now we're going to show you the process. We can't show you everything, but a little bit of the process of culling those chickens right here. Good morning. Welcome to the Morgan Homestead. It's kind of a foggy, dismal looking morning, but that's fitting for the day because today we are going to cull some of our roosters. We got our chickens about 18 weeks ago, and some of them we ordered straight run. Well, we knew we were going to get some roosters, but out of 17, we ended up with probably 9, I think, roosters. Some of them are quiet still, but it's getting kind of chaotic in the chicken coop, so it is time to say goodbye to some of them. And hopefully that'll restore some peace. Our hens have not started laying yet, and we are hoping to get some eggs if we can get rid of some of these roosters. Got chickens so that we would have dual purpose birds. We wanted them for the meat and for the eggs. So some people may not like the fact that we're culling out some of these roosters, but that's what we got chickens for. We want to eventually become sustainable, raise all of our own meat here on the homestead, so that's why we have chickens. So that's what we're doing. Okay, so Kevin's gonna walk you through his setup here. How's this gonna work, Kev?
So first we have our restraining cone. We'll put the chicken in here upside down and have the head come out here. We'll make 2 slices on each side of the neck and let it drain out. It's the most humane way. I've researched this. This is the most humane way to cull the chicken.
And once they're hanging upside down, they kind of go into a
trance of sorts, but
they go to sleep basically.
They're still awake, but they are in somewhat of a trance.
Okay.
So once we get the chicken to the point where we need to take the feathers off, we'll take it out of the cone, bring it over. I just have a propane cooker for turkeys here that I'm bringing up the temperature. We'll get the temperature up to about 150 degrees. We'll dunk the chicken in the water and then do a few tests of pulling feathers out to see how easy they come out. Once the feathers start coming out easy, then we'll take it out of the water, bring it over to this device that I made. It's to take the feathers off. I just made this attachment that goes on a drill, a 1/2-inch drill. We'll run this and knock the feathers off the chicken. We'll see how this works. This is new. I've never used it, so we'll see how well this works. Once we get all the feathers off of the chicken, then we'll take it over to the table, and that's where we'll start butchering it. Once we're done butchering it, we'll put it in an ice bath in that cooler for a few hours before actually bagging them and put them in a freezer.
Okay. So you can hear one of our roosters in the background. That is Rusty. He's going to be our #1 target. I'll bring you over to the coop here. Rusty's gotten pretty nasty where he won't let anyone out of the coop in the morning. I don't know where he is now. He was out here, I thought. But he won't let any of the hens out, and he keeps them kind of locked in there for quite a while in the morning. There he is. Come on out, dude. Say goodbye to your fans. He has gotten quite aggressive towards all of the chickens, and he's extremely noisy. He crows all day long. So he is our first one to go. We have way too many roosters for this flock anyway, so we've got to get rid of a few of them. So Rusty, he's a handsome fella. It's too bad, but again, we got chickens for dual purpose, for the meat and for the eggs, and our hens are not laying eggs. We think it's because they're so stressed out. So we're gonna capture him and we'll let you know how this goes. Alright, so Rusty's gone. He's been dispatched humanely, and so now we're going on to the second step, which is scalding, and this is to loosen up and all of the feathers. So you just scald Roll them around in the hot water, 145 degrees, and just keep working that until, and you test, I guess. We've never done this before, so first time. But you test to see when the feathers pull off the back or wherever easily enough. So once the feathers start pulling off pretty easily, we're going to try moving on to the next stage. So anyone new to this channel, these are our very first chickens. This is our very first time harvesting one. And yes, it's sad, but we got chickens as dual purpose for their meat and their eggs. And our roosters have gotten pretty aggressive, especially this one, to the hens. We've seen a lot of damage to the hens and a lot of fighting going on with the other roosters. It's just had gotten to be very upsetting to watch them. So we're learning this process, and this will be our first chicken that we cull and harvest. Coming out not too bad, but still got to tug quite a bit, or?
Yeah, not too bad, but I think we're going to give it a shot. Yeah, this does come out pretty easy.
Okay, and then, so the next step, the automatic plucker that you can purchase is like almost $500. So Kevin decided that we would try to create our own. So he made this one. Same concept. We'll see how it goes. Feathers flying everywhere. So that worked pretty good. First time through. Had to pick a few more feathers off. And cuts the plucking time in way down. I mean, obviously. Oh, our beagles are bird dogs, so actually no, beagles are rabbit dogs. I'm thinking of our German Shorthair. She was a bird dog. She would have been all over this. What do you think, Marley? What's going on? Oh, shush. Be quiet. No. So we finished culling the 6 roosters. We didn't film any of that, obviously. So the final result of culling the 6 roosters is they are now in freezer camp. So now we have 6 chickens in the freezer. Here's one. We did that shrink wrap thing where you drop them in the hot water. We bought the special bags for that. So we now have a freezer full of chickens, and we have one out that we are going to have tonight.
Now that we've processed the roosters that we decided we didn't need anymore, we ended up keeping 3 of the roosters. Then our decision was to actually do some free ranging, let the chickens do free range on the property. The one thing that we found out though with letting the chickens free range at such a young age was the fact that they weren't using the nesting boxes to lay their eggs. So the first time we heard that the chickens were laying some eggs, I mean, they started making these noises out into the woods. And I heard one out in the woods, and I decided I was going to go try and find the chicken to see if it actually had laid some eggs out there. And here's the video of that. Hi everyone, welcome to the Morgan Homestead. So we've been free ranging our chickens now for a couple weeks, and they're starting to lay some eggs. We did get a few of them out of the nesting boxes, but I do think that there's probably some other ones that are laying eggs, but not in the nesting boxes, so while they're out roaming around, they might be laying them around. I did hear one out in the woods back here that sounded like it might have been laying an egg, so I need to go back there and see if I can find it. Hopefully she's still on the egg so that we'd at least be able to find the chicken. So it sounded like the sound was coming from over in this area somewhere, so I'm going to walk out in there and see what I can find. Now, it might not be too easy to find it in here. It's pretty thick. How am I going to get around to this? This way. Ooh. Oh, I think I might have found it. Looks like there's a few eggs in there, actually. I don't know if you can see it here. If I can zoom in. Where is it at? Right there. Oops. So we'll walk over there and see what it is. So it looks like she's been laying eggs in there about every day. So I'm gonna have to take the eggs out of there. See if I can put them in. Holy moly, she's got a lot of them in there. Oops. See if I can get down in here. But yeah, you can see there's quite a few eggs down in there. They're not very big yet. She's still pretty young, but wow. At least we did find it.
This is a lobster mushroom that Kevin found in the woods. We're going to slice it up and cook it in butter and eat it tonight with our chicken.
So now we decided in the wintertime we weren't going to let the chickens free range. I mean, there's really nothing out there for them to foraging for. Yeah. So we decided we were going to build a chicken run that they can stay in the wintertime. Also hoping that they would learn to lay eggs in the nesting boxes during that period of time. So I did go ahead and build a chicken run onto the chicken coop, and here's the video of some of that here. Hi everyone, and welcome to the Morgan Homestead. Today I'm going to be working on the chicken coop, building a new chicken run so we can enclose it a little bit for them for the winter time so they're not having to run around in deep snow. So we'll show you the progress of that. So this is what the chicken coop ended up looking like after being finished. Chickens have been in there now for about a month. They weren't super happy about it at first because they were out free ranging and could roam around a little bit more than they can now, but they're more used to it now. They seem to be okay with it, so. Seems to be working good. They seem to have plenty of room to roam around in. I still have a little bit left to do to it. I got some siding to add to the coop part. The run's pretty much done. The only thing I have to do is put in some soffit under the overhang. But otherwise that's finished. And then just some more siding on the coop itself to finish that off. That'll have to all wait till next year now, but it should be good enough for this year.
So yeah, so now end of the season, I had to get out there and clean out the greenhouse. As if any of you watched our previous video, the greenhouse build, it's a beautiful greenhouse. Kevin did a great job. I went a little crazy on planting what I planted in there, and I did not pick out the right things. Too many vine items, and they overtook the greenhouse. And there's a video if you want to look back, greenhouse gone wild, and you can see that it just, my cucumbers and obviously my squash plants just kind of pushed me right out of the greenhouse. So I cleaned out the greenhouse. For the winter, I decided to try planting some onions and garlic in the raised bed, and I'm gonna see how that works. And then this winter we're gonna sit down and make a plan on what we're going to put in the greenhouse this summer. We will do hydroponics again. I think that was successful. Yeah. We did a lot of peppers out there in the hydroponics, and that worked good. So we'll do that again, but going to be a little bit, we're going to change up what we plant in the raised bed and in all of the hydroponics. So anyway, here's some pictures. Anyway, I didn't video, but some pictures of the greenhouse and the cleanup and the raised bed planting. And last but not least, while Kevin was here on the property doing the chicken run and doing all those things, I was at home prepping the house, painting, getting it ready to sell, because we did make the decision to move up here this year. With COVID, we thought this was a good motivating factor to just go ahead and try the homesteading life on the property. So we did sell our house. We did find a place for our youngest daughter who lived with us. She's moved in with our oldest daughter, so she's all settled. We got them all moved to their new place. Our house sold in 2 weeks on the market. It felt like 2 months, but it was really...
It was crazy and hectic.
Only 2 weeks, so unbelievable. We're here. Most of our belongings are in a 40-foot, what do you call those things? Connex container.
Shipping container.
Shipping container. My whole house is currently in a container. We moved into the cabin here that we share temporarily with our in-laws, and we are going to plan on building a new cabin on the other side of the property. So we want to take you along with that build too over the next few years. So that's about it for this video. We wanted to get you all caught up on the future videos and the next few videos that we put out. We're going to be talking about our garden plans, the hydroponics again, what I'm planning on putting in there and in the raised beds and in our ground gardens. Possibly getting another greenhouse, not sure. New animals that we might be bringing onto the homestead. maybe we might need some opinions on what to bring on first, and what ideas you might have to help us with that.
Yeah, leave comments down below on what animals you think we should add next to the homestead.
Right, chickens was we were told were the very first, and we feel like we've been pretty successful with the chickens.
Yeah.
We haven't lost any yet. We haven't had any of them get sick.
Nope.
We just had one that was getting pecked on the head, and Kevin doctored her right back up, and
Yeah,
we're doing pretty good. So on that, we think we're ready for the next animal. So we can show you our building site, where we plan to build. We still don't have everything finalized on where we're putting what, but if you want to contact us, you can email us
at the Morgan Homestead at yahoo.com.
Yeah, and be sure to like and share this video, and please put comments down below. That will help us. We'd like our site to grow as we do this, and so anything you can do to help us along there, that'd be great. We'd appreciate it. So thanks for joining us today, and if you're watching this on your TV, maybe Kevin can tell you, because I always used to say, how do you like and comment if you do that?
And you can do thumbs up from the TV. There's a little dot menu or more menu that you can click on, and you can go down to the thumbs up there if you'd like, if you do like the content that you're seeing and you are watching on your TV.
Right. So thank you. We'll see you next time.
Bye.